I would think that if this was the last season of Grey's, that it would be a whole thing about tune in for the final season of Grey's Anatomy.
Going back to you and James and Ellen being the three OG cast members standing, have you ever thought about, or do you ever think about closing this chapter and moving on to something else?
I know from a creative standpoint, there have been many like, oh, this is how the season would end. This is how the series would end conversations. And then they all end up, new because of a myriad of reasons, because the network's not ready, the studio's not ready, the fan base isn't ready, the numbers are too good. I think that collectively they've decided, you know what, we're not going to put an end on it. We're just going to wait and see, especially in light of what's happening right now. It's like, do we want the last season to be about COVID, or do we want it, us to be able to put some nice ribbons around it with rainbows and balloons and things.
The promo that we saw for this week's episode,
yeah,
I imagine it's going to be a very big episode for Bailey. We see Ben bringing in a patient. I think we hear Bailey saying, "Mom."
Right.
What can you tell me?
Yeah, well, my mom, bless her heart, is having some breathing issues.
Mom.
I brought my parents to Seattle so they can be closer to me, trying to be a responsible daughter. Found, a decent, I thought, place for them to live. But, this is Seattle, right at the beginning of the pandemic. And, nursing homes, nursing facilities, they were the first ones, like, really, really hit. So we're going to delve into, what that is from a medical perspective. This one is close to home. This one is a family member. We already have our, babies there in the hospital with Meredith and Karasik. So this is another way that globally we're being affected.
You did bring up a good point. I mean,
yeah.
A lot of Bailey's loved ones are infected with COVID-19. Meredith, Tom, potentially her parents. How is Bailey doing?
So I think we were able to show, starting from the first episode, that what was important to her was keeping her mental health on point, right? Not being able to be with her family. Ben, even though he comes in for the clap out, he still is there to ground her, keep her grounded so that she can do her job. I think we've been able to reveal, especially, from Bailey's point of view, that this pandemic is just getting bigger and bigger, and that it's not calming down at any point. Side note, I had thought that by the time these episodes were airing, that we were going to be talking about the past. This is kind of blowing my mind as an actor, that's where we are. She's handling it, the way that Caesar surgery has to handle it.
Let's talk about her and Ben for a second. I think it's one of the most steady relationships that we have on the show. What's in store for them in the next few episodes?
Yeah, so they have been trying to do the right thing, right, which is to stay separated, being that they're both first responders, they're both in contact with folks that are potentially carrying the virus, don't want to put that on their kids. But just like everybody else in the world, you get tired after a while. We can only be separated for so long, and a plan that theoretically was supposed to last 15 days is now in its 10th month. So, and that's the reality, right? For all of us out there. What do we do when that temporary plan becomes something more long-term? So, the short answer is I don't know yet, but I do know that it's not going to last for Ben and Bailey.